Okay. Sure hope this one works. I hope it sounds better. Um, so I'm waiting uh, for someone to come back. I had to shut down the system because it had a big echo. Probably, and if it does, I'm gonna have to put some more things in here, I guess, to knock down that sound. Can anybody? How do I sound? Do I sound okay, or a while ago I had to shut down, and everybody told me that it was too, like I was in the hallway or a box or something. Still echo. Oh. So I mean, is it bearable? Even if I talk louder, would it be? Is it okay? I mean, can you kind of understand? Even if we sound like we're underwater. Hmm. What do you think? Too echoey or? Hmm. Okay, good. Okay, great. All right, that's perfect. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Angel. Okay, so what I was wanting to do tonight, since we're getting so close, Faith Walker. Where's Faith Walker at? Let me actually send her an invite just because I had to redo all this, so all that got taken off. So give me 1 second again. Um, Give me 1 second. Anybody, is Faith Walker here yet? Um, I just sent her an invite. If she gets here, let her know. I gotta send Malcolm and Damon real fast. I forgot about that because I had to reboot and I had them already logged in. That'll only take a second. And I was trying to get Katie. Um, Hello again. Hey, Faith Walker, there you are. Hey, if Katie gets here, if I don't see her, I should. Um, but I need to get her email. I was wanting to get her on here a couple times too, so we could talk. And that's kind of what I want to do tonight too. Is talk about certain things that since we got what 4 days till let's see, what's today? Thursday. So we got tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And we will. Hey, all right, it's Cliff. All right, Faith Walker, Damon. All right. Oh, Damon's here. Great. Um, Malcolm's not here yet, but let me get Damon and Faith Walker on here, and we'll go ahead and have this kind of update and meeting real fast. So give me 1 second, please. You're it sounds kind of mechanical, Damon.
Yeah, it sounds real mechanical.
Yeah, can everybody hear Damon, or is that just mine?
I could hear him.
Yeah.
Oh, it must be mine because even Faith Walker, you sound a little like mechanical. The it sticks. I can hear like something in the background, like and then I just blanked out again. Did y'all see that glitch?
They don't want us
Yeah.
having this show.
Can y'all hear anything or see the glitches?
I can hear you. There's a few glitches.
Yeah, there's a few
But-
glitches. I can
Okay.
still hear you.
I can
Okay.
hear Damien very
Well,
clear.
Oh wow. Okay, so we
It's
can
all you,
proceed then.
Jerry.
Yeah, it's all me over here somewhere. I had a guest today, and like I was explaining a while ago, it's native chalk talk. It was a podcast that some of the Choctaws have, or the Choctaw has. So I was rearranging things here, so I think I messed up the sound because I took some cushions out to make room for a chair, and so I think all that was like soundproof that I took out of the room. So we're gonna have.
Wow. Now we lost him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know how that works. Maybe some loose cords or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
Everybody hit the like button while you wait.
I'm telling you.
Now Faith Walker's screen is dark. There she is. There she is. Mine blanked out. Mine went off, and then it said try again. So did mine go off too? I mean, yeah, okay. Okay. So let's do it as quick as possible. No. But David, if you could, do you have any updates on the Keystone missing people, the male or the female?
Yeah. The guy that was murdered, they said that he was the only way that they could actually identify him is through his ID that was in his wallet. That his body was decomposing to the point that they couldn't really determine and really know that was him until they actually took his ID and matched it with his fingerprints that was on file. And so now they're going. They were the family's actually talking about cremating him because of the decomposure that he had. And the female was transported to Oklahoma City. She's from Norman, and they said that she was going to be under observation for 2, possibly 3 weeks, and then be released back to her family. They said that she was rambling going down, and they had to sedate her. But by the time she got down to Oklahoma City, all she would say is that she's seen the tall gray man was watching her, and she's seen the tall gray man.
Oh, jeez.
And every time she said that, she would start shaking and almost like in violent fits.
Poor thing.
Yeah. And they said she was she was the age of like 27, 28 years old. So, I mean, she's a very young woman. And that's all she would say is, I seen him eye to eye. I seen him eye to eye. And she would just continuously say that over and over.
And who do you see for therapy for something like that? All they'll do is try to tell you were
Right.
need medication, or
Right. And
it was
like
a
I said,
mangy bear.
no, it wasn't no mangy bear.
I know, but I mean
we know
that's
that,
their go-to excuse.
right. And right now, my apartment's without electricity, so that's kind of the reason why it's so dark. You're just getting the light off of my phone.
We thought you were just like being mysterious.
No, my apartment's out without electricity,
Oh
and
no.
I'm still waiting for the part to come in for my car. Yeah, I'm having some highly difficult issues right now.
So was that all the information about the young woman?
Yeah, that's all they could give me, because they said that they just got the basic detail of it. That's what that's what they were going what they were going to do. And the report of her saying that the tall gray man was with one of the IMSA that transported her from Keystone to Oklahoma City. And even the
Say
officer
that one
told
more
me,
time, please.
he said that the paramedic that helped transport her to Oklahoma City, that's what he told the officer, is that that's what she was saying is, the gray, I see the gray man, I see the tall gray man in, you know and I'm like, okay. And so even the officer I was talking about, he told me, he goes, you won't catch me going out there. He goes, if there's things like that you told me, and he goes, and I know you won't lie to me. He goes, you won't catch me going out there. He goes, there's no way I'll go out there.
They didn't give any information of who she was, or like where she was from, or
They said she's from Norman.
oh, okay. Was she hiking or camping?
No, she was out on the nature trail by herself.
And then nature trails in the Keystone by the dam or by the lake?
It's up by the lake. There's a walk, a nature walk that you can take. And they found her further on down, 2.5 miles from the camping entrance.
Yeah, did they say if she was walking or no? That's where she came out, 2.5 miles
Yes,
where she caught the
she was
ride.
she
Okay.
was on the trail. And when she came out, she was 2.5 miles from where she was supposed to be.
Did that trail, that the nature trail, did that lead to that road, or did she get off of that trail and woods?
No, the trail goes through the woods. And usually they have, little rest areas, stop areas where you can take a rest, or, walk, sit, watch the birds, animals. And where she came out, there's there's no way for you to be off that trail and further down deeper in the woods, and come out where she came out.
Yeah, I blanked out, I guess, but I was asking, does that nature trail lead to the road that she was found on, or did she cut through the forest to get to that road?
She had to cut through the forest to get to where the road's at, because from where the backside of that trail is, it's it's almost 2 mile, 2 mile straight shot to the to the actual road.
Do you know her ethnicity or her
She's
race? I
called,
guess you would say. Do you know
she's a white girl.
Caucasian? Yeah, I guess it's say.
Yeah, she's a white girl.
Did she?
She's about she's about 5'6", but I didn't ask for their names, because that to me that's privacy, because of the situation that happened.
Oh, okay. Was that lake or that trail by where she lived, or did she drive there? You know?
She was
Did they
there with
say?
she was there with friends. They were going to camp for that
Oh, they were
weekend.
camping.
Yeah, she was, and you know, and then you know, then there was a separate party of the six
Oh, okay.
that got pretty much spooked out of their area.
Okay.
And she had
Do
nothing to do with the guy, or were they together?
No, he was on the other side of the on the other side of the lake, on the other side of the dam, where he was at, and he was found.
you know if they set up camp, or were
No,
they just?
this was kind of like early in the afternoon, probably 2, 3 o'clock, when she took off. They didn't find her until almost 7:30 that night.
Hmm. So how did they get separated? I don't know if I heard that part, but she was with somebody, right? You said.
Well, she was with some friends, and she went out by herself on the nature trail,
Okay.
because I guess they went in town. That they said they were, or going to go purchase an area, purchase a spot, a site to camp, and that's how they split.
So they left her out there by herself. Well, I mean, was she already on the trail? Do you know if or if they're just like she went on the trail and they left?
Right. Well, they went back up to the office, to so they could get a campsite, and that's where they said they had split. And then after that, there was no communication. Every time they would try to text or call her, it would go straight to voicemail.
She might have been trying to go to the bathroom or something, and
Yeah. And then the next thing they know is they don't see her or anything until it's almost 8 o'clock at night.
Hmm. And that's all the information that we have to. They're going to have somebody observe her for how long? You said 3 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks. And
And
they.
then she was supposed to be, then she'll be released back to back to her family.
And she's being this observation. That's in Norman at where she lives, or
Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City. They took her to Oklahoma City. Okay.
Yeah, they took her to Oklahoma City, but she's from Norman.
Yeah. And who has her? Who's doing the observations? You know.
they didn't say. They just said that they were going to take her to one of the local hospitals. They didn't even get get a name of the hospital.
Hmm. So, so nobody knows what agency took her to do the observation.
Well, that I didn't really get into a lot of detail because because the officer I was talking to, he was dealing with a situation near me,
Oh,
and
oh.
I was trying to talk to trying to get a little bit of information out of him, and so we kind of we had like maybe like a 5 minute conversation, and he was back on duty, gone again.
Hmm. When well, actually, you're still gonna be keeping an eye on this as far as information, I guess.
I'm I'm
David?
I'm trying to because
Okay, okay.
like I said, I talked to him for about 5 minutes. They had a situation going here, and the, it took everybody from the police department, and they sent them out. They had a big ordeal going on.
They didn't scout, or they didn't, well, do you know if the park or the
Well,
park?
they had the park rangers out there. That they had the search and rescue out there. Go trying to go back over where where she was at, and you know really all they said is she was kind of lucky to get to where she was at because of all the cut scrapes and everything and clothes torn. So you know and we know that it wasn't no bear or a cougar or anything or a wild dog because she kept on saying that that it was over 9 foot tall. It's over 9 foot tall. The gray man's over 9 foot tall.
Could have been a gray hairy man too. Everybody's thinking like alien looking, but there's also you hear about the Bigfoots that are gray and hairy.
Yeah, but that's all she said is that the gray man looked me in my eyes. The gray man's over 9 foot tall, and I'm like, wow, okay.
Hmm.
She didn't say anything about them trying to speak to her or say anything to her. She said she was scared for he told me he said that she said that she was scared for her life and ran.
Do you know if they have any other missing people in that area?
I
At
know
that
it's
same
been
park?
I know it's been a few years back that they had a set of twins that went missing for 4 hours that was out there out there on the lake, and they found them almost 8 miles downriver. And it's like, okay, that was on the low side of the dam, and from where the dam is at to to Sand Springs, that they were about a quarter mile from Sand Springs, Oklahoma, when they found them. They were in the water, shivering cold, and they were saying that uh, they had said that they had seen creatures that was following them. They jumped in the water and was swimming underwater so that the creatures couldn't get them.
Are you going to be talking to the same guy, kind of, doing
Well,
what you
I
do,
want
I
to talk.
guess?
I want to talk to him, and I'm going to talk to a couple of other people that I know that are on the They're one of them is a paramedic, and I'm going to see if I can't get some information out of out of her because she works with the guy that transported this female to Oklahoma City.
I wonder if there was any kind of UFO sightings in that area.
There's all
Is that
that I've
common?
heard. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that there's strange light, there's strange noises. Uh, especially they talk about around the full moon. They said that there's a lot more activity when there's a full moon out.
Is there any way to talk to the girl's family? I mean, is there any way y'all can make
I'm
a connection or?
I'm gonna I'm gonna put it out there that you know that I know people and that want to would like to be able to talk to her, maybe do an interview, but that's pretty much as far as I'm going to you know really push it because of you know I want to be able to give her time to get past the trauma to be able to see about doing an interview with her.
No, we don't need to do any interviews or anything with her, or, that's her own thing, but we just need to talk to her. We need to, she needs to understand that we know exactly what she's,
Yeah,
what went
but I
on.
mean, but that's still I don't know her background, her family's background, or what. So that's why I'm trying to get as much information as I can.
Yeah,
All I know,
we just want the family to know that, we know everything about what happened, and we know exactly what she's talking about.
yeah,
Because none of these other people are going to know unless they're a special agency who is observing her with no, you
yeah,
know, so
and I mean, that's the thing is you know, I know that we're trying to be able to help, but I don't know if her family or others are going to say, well, that's more of a hindrance than a help.
well, let's not guess. Let's not third party it or say this might happen or they might do this or let's not guess. Let's not, you know, let's just let them know that we know exactly what happened. We know exactly what she saw, and we can help her through this. We're not here for interviews. Oh, there's something moving. Maybe it's mine. That's not like I heard. But yeah, let's not guess. Let's be exact on everything, or kind of hypothetically put things out there. So we know what the gray man is. We know the tall man. We know how tall he is. But we need to let her know, or the family know. At least let them know that we're here, because they don't know that we're here. Nobody
Right.
knows that we're here. Nobody, except for this group of the people here. But we're the only ones who can help her. No one else can help her. But if that other agency is up there, um, you don't know what she's going to come out with. Like they might put her on pills, they might drug her. But let's just let the family know that if you can, just somehow get word to them that we know what happened, and we can help her. And we'll just keep tabs on her and see if we. I guess we're still gonna have to wait at least that 2 weeks just to talk to her, but at least we can let the family know that we know what happened, and we're just here if they, might want to have us talk with her, and that we can all get together, we can all meet up there, and bring her out and have a dinner, but just talk with her, let her know that. But we can talk about things like this to other people. Regular people. I hear so. But regular people can't have this conversation with someone who's seen things like this.
Right.
So if you can, just keep us updated on that. This is very important, and I hope we get a chance to talk with her, to help her, and to learn these techniques also, to block out those dreams, that connection. We got to help them, just like Cliff. Cliff, it's the same thing with you. You got to break that connection. Practice those techniques. Do it on and off all day. But we'll stop right there with that part. And then we're gonna talk a little bit about with Faith Walker, kind of where we're at and what we're doing. We want to talk about your card, but we want to know what's going on. It's kind of like a meeting here, so that we know what might need to be, if we need to raise a little bit more money, if you need help with that part, or something like that. Maybe we can get somebody to actually reimburse you for that part, so that you can make it safely, and that we can do the live streaming and things like that. Also, Cliff, I didn't get to those files today. I had a guest and a visitor, so I was doing that, and I was rearranging things to make room. I had to move things out just so they could have a chair here. And also, Angel, if you're here, Angel, have you started your healing? Have you gotten your minerals? Have you started getting those plants? Are you using those plants? Also, I don't know if this is streaming to Facebook, but if you are on, we didn't even do the announcements because I had to come back. Okay, Cliff, yeah, practice those techniques. But the two groups on the Facebook page is Oklahoma Bigfoot Predator Watch, in parentheses, antlers and surrounding areas. Also, another group is the Choctaw Missing and Murdered Woman, WOMEMAN, and Son Center and Database. Also, the museum, the Chute Ranch Project, a Bigfoot Experience Museum, is still scheduled to open before the 1st of October. They're rearranging some things, bigger space, because it's going to be a good museum to be visited. So if you're ever in that area of Tallahena, Oklahoma, that will be up very soon. Okay, so what I was wanting to talk about tonight with the group here and the team is that when we get there, we're gonna, the first thing that we're gonna do is observe. So Faith Walker, on the day that we get there, do you have like a layout of your land, and or could you draw us like a battle plan, I guess you would say?
Yes, sir. I'll sketch something out. I'll get it to you.
Okay, and whenever we get there, that's whenever we'll all sit down. Well, of course, we're going to say hi first, get to know each other, and then I mean, well, we're doing that here too, but it's different in real life. Like, but we'll go over that plan. We want to see um, basically the terrain, what we're going to go through. I've seen some pictures already. There's a lot of pine there, right? Is that
A lot of pine.
okay? Okay. How's the snake population there?
Um,
Out,
I,
out in the pine area, do you know if it's
I've seen one big copperhead this year out in the woods, and two here up close to the house, but they were under some old wood that I was moving.
when was the last time you
One
seen
water
the
moccasin.
snake?
One water moccasin.
Oh, okay.
Um, 2 months ago
Okay.
would be the
Damon, do
last.
you have water boots? Oh, okay, about 2 months ago. Damon, do you have water boots or hiking boots that can get wet? Because we may be going through a stream or a river. If we catch a fresh track, or if we just find a good track, even if it's a day or two, we can still track with that. But we may be going through some water. I think Faith Walker, did he say that is it a low stream or is it knee deep or because
It
that's
just
knee deep?
depends on where you cross and how much it rains before you get here. There's a spot that we can cross that's no more than ankle deep right now, and if we can get across. It just depends on how
Oh,
much we have to crisscross.
okay, okay.
I'm sure the Bigfoot are happy to throw some logs down to help us walk across.
Yeah, that's why I put some bridges out there for us and say, come on, walk across down here. That picture, I didn't get to put that picture up, but I do want to put that up. They'll probably blank me out right now, but I really want to put that picture up that you sent me because that's in the territory. But when you sent that to me, this was like the last photo
Mhm.
that I looked at. And I was like, well, let me get that one because I was, getting one at a time, and Italy. But I've seen this one, and it was the last one, so I was going to use this for this segment. And when I looked at it, there's a lot that caught my eye. So it's gonna blank me out for just a second, but we can still talk about it. So I want to put that up because it is, and kind of, if you can, kind of tell us from your front door, where is this spot located?
This would be
Um,
over in what's going to be zone 3 in the other property that's adjacent to us. This is in a
okay,
section of the forest that gets really quiet. It's not by the creek. It's you see that broken pole right there, the snapped off tree close
yeah,
to us,
yeah,
the little one. There's another one just on the other side of it,
okay,
on the
yeah,
other side of the big tree, almost like it's a little entrance there,
yeah, yeah,
almost like they have a little gate. And that tunnel actually, it doesn't look that long in the photo, but it's longer than it seems in that photo.
yeah,
Um, you see the bent over limb, and then the the small pines laying over the top of it, right here in the foreground.
yeah, yeah,
It seems like that's how they always start, with that first, and then they start filling in and building a fence or a blind. But that's one of the best tunnels I've gotten the photo of. That's not a fresh one. That's from I found that in the spring. Um, but it's in the section that gets really quiet, where I've gotten some pretty interesting pictures. And that's the last of the sapling type ones. Uh, n- Not too far from there is where the teepee type structure, the one that you had up yesterday with the wagon wheel spokes,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's just through the woods, but in that same, it's basically kind of laid out in quadrants here, I guess. It would be in that same quadrant of the area we're going to be looking at. Um,
Okay. Now let's make sure we got the sites right. Site one is the closest to you. That's ground zero. site 0,
Right.
right?
Right.
And site 1 is the closest to you, right?
Yes. That's the house,
Okay,
right?
so, yeah. Well, that's the river, the streams.
Yes. Well, the stream's going to go through two parts of it.
Okay, so that would be site 2 and 3.
Um, site 1 and 2. And
2.
this that we're
Okay.
looking at, this tunnel then would be 3.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I knew exactly how far, and that's how I judge distance also
Mm-hmm.
on which sites and how far they go out from 0 to 3, so I know exactly how far where it's at.
This
So
would be our land is 10 acres, so it's probably about 10 acres out, but to the east of us.
okay.
No, to the west of us. I'm sorry, to the west. 10 acres
Oh, okay.
to the west. Sorry.
Okay. 10
If you're
acres.
going off the back end of the house. I'll send you a sketch.
Okay. We'll do the sketch whenever we get to the place.
Okay.
We'll just keep all that together, or when we're departing and things like that, or where we're maneuvering through. But now now this structure's still there, right?
Yes. Yes, it's still
Okay.
there. It is
Oh.
filled in a little more than when I first found it. Hey, this is the area that back when I didn't know I shouldn't be gifting. I had right there in that area. I had hung a little one of my grandsons a little bag that like a little black pirate bag. I suspended it from a, a limb about 9 feet off the ground with an apple in it,
Mhm.
and it got ripped open and the apple was gone. But I did it, in a way that a coon couldn't get to it, or I didn't think a black bear could get it. I tried to do it higher than that and higher than a deer, and it was gone from that spot.
Now I've seen these structures before, and I was trying to tell people how they build corrals
Mm-hmm.
out there,
Exactly.
and those saplings, and that's a wall,
Yep.
and that blind, duck hunters will use those.
Uh-huh.
And those are just blinds that's Bigfoot's weight behind. And that corral, they'll go around that pine tree, that big pine tree, right into that ambush.
Yep.
And I always also tell people that these sticks, where the sapling's being held down by that stick. Can you see with the
Yes. Uh-huh.
and on the other side, it is a walkway. They put these sticks down as walkways or which way to go, and
Yep.
there'll be clear paths like that. There'll always be clear between those things.
Yep. The photo the other day with my dog laying in it? I think you used it for a photo too a couple days ago.
Yeah.
She was laying inside of there.
I'm surprised.
I know I think she's starting to catch on to what I'm looking at, because she's
Oh.
sniffing and going right to him now, where she's even finding a few things.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good that she sees what you're doing, and even children will do that. They'll see what you're doing, and they'll start looking where you look, and that's just like whenever I take pictures of the deer and everything. I'm not just taking a picture of a deer. I'm taking a picture of where that deer's looking, because they'll let you know if something else is out there too. So, now I was looking at this structure because a lot of friends, they don't know that, like when these saplings are held down by another stick or piece of bark or things like that those are either sensors or those are traps. And this right here is a perfect trap. But what I was really wanting to talk to you about is you see where the pole is that broke off
Yes,
about
sir.
8 foot up?
Yes,
You
sir.
see, and that tree to the right of it that they
Uh-huh.
go around?
Yes,
Right
sir.
in between there in the back. Is that what you were showing me that one time? Right directly back, that black shadow.
Way
There's
back there?
way, I mean, where the brush is, he's right over back of it. He's just standing there.
So it's to the left of the screen, but
Well, it's between those two trees. It's kind of like
yes, I see that shadow back there.
you see it now.
I
That's
sure
what
do.
that's what we look for. So it was out there with you, and there's another one, another tree back behind it. About looks like two or three of them in a row back there.
Uh-huh.
Can you see them? And one of them's got an arm that's hanging out around that tree. He's looking around that tree. It's like you see the pine tree where they go around, but in that trap, that corral,
Uh-huh.
that pine tree. It's just straight. There's a leaf, the second leaf up, or the first leaf from the top, straight back. About half of that leaf. There's an arm that's coming out from behind the tree.
Wow. I just got chills.
Yeah. I was thinking this was the picture that you sent me and was asking,
No,
but
that
there's
was from
another picture.
Yeah, that was from closer over there to where the wagon wheel looking thing
Yeah.
was.
If you also look, see where your little pine tree is snapped off.
Uh-huh.
Go to the left of where that the big tree is standing there.
Uh-huh.
That dark spot. Look just above that dark spot. You'll see a face sitting there.
I wondered about that.
That's a face that's sitting there because they're anytime that you take a picture, or especially like with an old time camera, even our phones give off frequencies, and they're drawn to that.
Creepy. And they're used to me having that phone out. Like people would say, if you take your phone out, you're not going to get anything. But they're used to, I always have, even before I knew they were out there. I just love forest pictures, So we've been out here for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's been 8 years that I was looking around, just frolicking through, thinking things were perfectly fine out there. But and taking pictures, so I don't think they think twice about me having a camera out.
No.
And we're going to use that. We need
Right.
all your normality.
Right.
What you normally do, we are not going to disturb it. Whatever you naturally do, we're going to do.
Okay.
But those camera pictures, if you want to take pictures, if you see something, you say, Damon, let me get a picture of you.
Okay.
So it's going to look like you're taking a picture of Damon, but you take a picture of whatever you need to see over his left shoulder, his right shoulder, and then we will blow all those up as soon as we get them back in.
Okay. This is the spot that one time the first time I found this, everything got super still and heavy feeling. And I snapped some pictures and started easing on out of there because I was just real uneasy. And just as I passed an area of a branch about the size of the one laying on the two that are cross laying on the ground there, I heard the branches and I turned around and looked and it fell from way up high. So I don't know if something had thrown it or like just I was about 15 feet past it when it landed behind me. When it started falling and landed behind me, I saw it come down and land, but I heard it before it did. So I don't know if I just heard, I don't know. I remember at the time thinking, are they throwing something at me? Or, what are the odds of it falling from way up high just as I walked under? There's also a spot out there that I wish that y'all could have seen it fresh, but I can still show it to you. And it's where two giant logs about the size of the snapped off one there had, they're crisscrossed on the ground, and one was suspended. And I don't even know how they did this, but they have one suspended directly where the intersection of the big X on the ground. It was really impressive, actually, how they could hang it from just the little saplings and stuff so that it just hung exactly. Because I made jokes at the time. I was like, is that their big X to keep out? And they had their arrow pointing right to it of, do you see this, stupid? because it's shifted now a few inches, but it's still there. Y'all get to look at it. But I haven't seen anything like that before or since, as far as an X on the ground, flat.
So how far do you go? I mean, do you go all through your woods there?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
I mean, you know the whole territory.
I know it pretty dang well.
Yeah. Okay. I'm looking for all that. I mean, just so like all the places we've kind of tracked before, we always talk to the owner.
Uh-huh.
So we need to know where like the water area, the streams, the ponds, what kind of wildlife you normally have,
Uh-huh.
how that wildlife is it full? Is it
To me,
big?
for as isolated as we are, there's not nearly as much wildlife as I would think there would be.
Okay, yeah.
It just seems to me like it'd be teeming. And when I look down the road, I see so many deer, and here it's just once in a blue moon I'll see one or see
Hmm.
tracks, but nothing like I would have thought. And I've seen raccoon poop in the creek one time. Uh, More armadillos than anything. Uh, just now, finally, are some squirrels coming around, but really just nothing like I would have thought. And then wild hog tracks, but they seem to stay on the adjacent properties more than here.
Are they big hog tracks or are they young hog tracks, like small ones?
Um, not not huge. I haven't
Okay.
seen any super huge ones. I saw a
Do
mama with a
you,
couple of babies one time, but that was on the next people's property. But I do have permission to go over there, and it was in. Of course, I stay out of the spots that are like soup. Well, ever since that time, because I was going in there looking for beauty berries because they're good for mosquitoes, the leaves. But that's why the hogs like them too. So I was looking at them and going to collect some, but then a mother hog and two piglets came through, so I just went ahead and left that area. And then about
with,
a
what site
sir,
was that?
sir,
What site?
that would have been really this here, back
Site
behind the
zero?
house. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
I'm kind of getting mixed up between 0 and 1.
Yeah. One is just like let's say outside your yard
Okay,
or outside
gotcha.
that circle, outside that perimeter of where we're going to
Okay,
be.
so it
That's
would
just,
be okay. So the hogs would be on 0 and on 1. There was one small one that I saw run through across on the other side of the creek a couple weeks ago, but I also don't know if others ran ahead of him before I saw him, because usually they're not just by themselves like that when they're that little. But
yeah.
we're not. I would not say we're overrun with the hogs or anything. And there's a couple times I've seen trees that are really, really scratched up. So I don't know if that's um, cougars or.
And
And then every fall, uh, like last year, there was a real clear sighting of a black panther across the creek. Every fall, the black panthers come through and they ride that creek.
So what about crows, ravens, owls, coyotes, wolves?
Coyotes, I do hear that one night that everything was crazy. It sounded like coyotes, wolves, and monkeys all mixed together. But I'm not normally outside the house at that time of night, right? Um, so I don't know how often that happens. But I do hear the coyotes from time to time. The owls hear quite a bit. Um, I don't know if this was an owl or not, but one time when I was taking a different route through to Zone 3, I could hear like whoo, 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 like that. Like, I know I didn't do that well at all, but that's what it sounded like. And it just kept going. It was like it was following me, coming along with me the whole time. I was thinking, I don't know what that was. I asked my husband when I got home, but I did just as bad an impression. So he's like, I don't know what that was. But there is an owl we see fairly often out here, for sure.
Wow, that's not a good sign either.
And that right. And then the crows, hear them fairly regular. And then there's something that there was one time in zone 3 that I don't know what it was. I did record that. I don't know if I could find the recording again. I think I ended up erasing it, but somebody told me maybe wild, they said maybe water turkeys or something, but it was so much racket. It was crazy out there, and it went on like the whole time I was out there. I don't know what there was so many of them. I don't know what that was. I'm not real good at recognizing all the sounds yet, just for one thing, because I don't hear them as well as other people. But I do have my hearing aid ready for this.
Has this happened since you've lived there?
Yes. Well, I can't say as far as the trail and out there because I didn't know what I was looking for before. But it's been the last 2 years for sure that, well, dang, yeah, I guess I would have to say so because across the creek in zone 1, when my daughter's grown now, she's 21, but she would have been, I guess we've been out here longer than I thought because she would have been about 10 back then. So we've probably been out here 12 years. But she had claimed this little piece of property and she called it a Radioland. That was going to be her spot. And her and the younger daughter, Matilda, had gone over there to play one time, and they both came running back, and they said that there was it was almost dark. It was at dusk, but they saw a big, tall, what did they say? A big, tall mass standing there that they couldn't tell what it was. They couldn't see any features. It was just standing there in the shadows staring at them. And Matilda's a lot bolder. She's the younger one, but she doesn't live here anymore either. But Aradia never would go back to, and she had loved that spot of the land, but it ruined her. She just doesn't want anything to do with the woods anymore. She said there was also times that she would look out off the porch and see, and she didn't tell me this until about a year ago, but she said at least a dozen times. And really the way she described it was like a rake, because I got to tell you, she's been in the mental institution, in the mental hospitals like 5 times now, and they say she has schizophrenia, but I don't know if that's really it. I think she sees stuff, and I think they try to say that I think she's just really, really wide open to spirit world and sees what's out there. I don't think it's just all in her head. And
Does she live there in your area?
No, she lives about an hour away now. She doesn't like the woods anymore because of the things she said she saw out there. But the one thing, sir?
Is she, like, we're coming south, so is she south, north, east, or west of you?
She would be south of us.
Okay.
Further south towards
I
you.
I was thinking maybe on that last day, maybe would she be up for a visit?
She might. I might get her to come visit if she doesn't have to work.
Okay. Well, she might not want to get in those woods. That's why I said that,
Yeah, she would if she'd come for a visit. She just doesn't want to live out here anymore.
Oh, okay. That would be great if we could get her there and talk with her.
Okay.
And then she would, that's just like the young lady in Norman.
Yeah. She's never saw anything up close, but she would, the one thing that bothered her the most is she got a lot of drawings, and even if she doesn't come, I can show you the drawings. But what the black mass thing was something different, but the thing that she said she would see off the porch, always kind of in the same spot, was like it really looks like a rake, but she was drawing it way back before, it was a creepypasta thing, or, I don't know, she was drawing it back when she was a little kid, saying she was seeing this thing out there, and it was more humanoid, white, super skinny, super tall, nighttime creature type thing. I don't know what it was, but
Are there anybody in that area who has stories of close to Site Zero?
well, Site Zero is where the one guy said that the neighbor guy that I'd met recently, said he saw the dogman type thing dragging the deer off the road.
Could we also see? Would he visit you? I mean, would he?
I don't know if he will or not. I've been trying to get a hold of him lately, but I have his text messages, you can see.
Okay. Yeah, it would be great to talk with him too.
Yeah, he had an uncle pass away recently, and so he hasn't even been on Facebook since then, so I don't know what the deal is. But I've been trying to send messages asking him how he's doing.
Okay. Yeah, and you can actually tell you got some special people, I guess you would say, coming for a visit. And if they would like to talk, we understand exactly what they're going to say.
Right.
You know?
I will.
And,
I'll send him a message.
Yep.
And
And
if he doesn't, I do still have his text messages of when he was telling me about what he saw out here with the dog man.
yeah, anybody that might want to visit, we may have them come to where we're at when we all meet first.
Uh-huh.
And then we can have like a little get together, so everybody can tell us exactly where this happened, because you'll have the map.
Right.
And they'll point where this happened, where they see that this is where I was. And
Okay.
that's going to help us do a lot of pinpointing. The
Okay.
people who've seen it, they know. So,
Okay.
and I know it's short notice, but that all helps us, to be more safer out there.
Right. Sure. And,
Okay, so yeah, go ahead.
Even if they can't, I know the exact spot, but I will try to get them here. But if they can't, I know the two spots, three spots actually, that two for the daughter and one for the dog man that the guy saw.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's not that the location, but the location is important, but we need to talk to them.
Right.
So they understand that we know, they're not crazy.
Right.
There are things that you can see that other people can't see.
Right.
And we can see those same things. So
yeah,
that's what I like. That's what I like.
I would
about
really
this
love
team.
for my daughter to hear that.
Yeah, if she can make it in, be at that meeting. And
Okay.
anybody, so we know what happened, what they felt, and we can all help them with that too.
Right.
So
And
tell them we're on our way too.
I'll see if I can find her old drawings too. I saw them recently, but I'll look for them.
Yeah, anything like that. If they have photos, if they have video, drawings especially, because everybody can do that,
Right.
Or have them, or we can have them draw right there. Just kind of show us. But I mean, we know, but there's different types. That's another thing too.
For sure.
Yeah. So we know what we're doing, and we're gonna help a lot of people. Sounds like I didn't know there was this many people who had these experiences, but you've been sharing that with us, and also sharing with all these details about where these locations are, how far they are out, where the more activity is, where the crows are, what direction the crows are. Do you actually know that one?
Yes, they're right off to the left between the creek and the road. There's this one little corner, and that actually would be where a lot to, until you're talking about this, I didn't realize there actually is a great deal of it going on right there in that one section. So it'd be parts. You're saying on the other side of the creek is zone 1, and this is zone 0. So it would be like kind of where those two zones meet for a lot of what the daughter saw, a lot of what the younger daughter saw and heard, what they saw together, and then what the neighbor saw. And I say neighbor, but he's like 7 miles, I think, from here, between 5 and 7. I don't know exactly where he lives, but he knows exactly where I live, because that's what he said. Boy, if I got a story for you, I know exactly where you live. And I was like, well, you couldn't tell me this before? And he said, that's not exactly the thing you want to just walk up and tell a stranger that you saw,
Would you mind telling that story again? Because I know there's some viewers here.
No, not at all. He said, so I met him recently because we were both picking up litter out here on this farm and market road. And not together, but we had talked through Facebook about it, because long story about somebody throwing a bunch of litter up and down the road. But anyway, when he was asking where we lived, I described it to him, and it was right before a little bridge. And he's like, I know exactly where that is. And he said, I got a story for you. He said 2 years ago, so this would have been 2019, about 4:30 in the morning, I was driving my truck down that road going home. And I think he's 20, he probably would have been about 26 at the time. And he said he saw a dead doe and a fawn. The fawn was alive. He stopped, and he was going to get the fawn and put it in his truck. And he heard a noise, and he looked back, and he said, I don't know any other way to describe it, but it stood on 2 feet and it ran off on 4 feet. But he said it was standing on 2 feet, bent over. It looked like a big, hairy dog, and it had hands, not paws. It had hands, and it was pulling the deer by the legs, was pulling it off the road. And he said, and I freaked out. I grabbed the fawn and I threw it in my truck, and I took off, and it took off. And he said it took off through your gate, down your driveway, towards the back of your house. And he said, I honestly thought it came from y'all's place, and that there's another cut through road about a mile down where I said that cell tower is, maybe 2 miles. But anyway, he said that he would take that for 3 months. He had to work up the courage to come back down this road. He would take that cut through road and go miles out of his way to work because he was afraid to come back down this road after seeing that thing. And I don't think at the time he knew what a dog man was called. He just knew it was a upright walking canine. But when it ran, it was on 4 feet when it ran away. So.
Yeah. So this has been going on for a while in this area, huh?
Yeah, he said this one was black and gray. Okay, and then when my youngest daughter, when she talked about the big oversized dog that was watching her, this is separate from the dark mass. She said it was way bigger than a Great Dane. And she said it was gray. She didn't say black and gray, so I don't know if it was the same one. And she said that it was just sitting there staring at her, making her really uncomfortable. This is the youngest daughter. And the next time she come running in the house and was telling me to get the gun, but by the time we got back out there, it was gone. And then the second time she saw it, but it was just the butt end of it and its back, the top of its back, but she recognized it from before. And by its size and its color and everything, she figured it was the same thing. But it was off the end of the house where there was a lot of overgrowth, and is again. And she said it was heading away towards the creek in that direction. But the way the creek winds around, either all those times, it's heading towards the creek. So I think the creeks are their little highways, or I think that's their go-to, is to get to the creek. when they saw the black mass, they were just on the other side of the creek, almost horseshoes out there in that area. And that was near the creek. And, you know, I think that's why we got this land so cheap, because the creek is all through it, and it's hard to even access or build a bridge across to get to the back part of the property. So we're kind of stuck here on this front part because we can't afford a bridge to get across. So they've just had, you know, a lot of isolation back there to build all their shelters. There were so many shelters in one, and I'm calling them shelters, structures, in one area that we'll go to, that I was like, dang, was this like a like a workshop building thing? Like, how many do they need? Good God, what? Like, I don't know why there were so many back there. That it was like 5 or 6, and then over in another area, a different type of structure. No. I think you'll have fun.
Oh. Can y'all still hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. Did David just break that? My screen breaks out.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get off here because I have no power right now and my phone's about to die.
Oh. Okay, yeah, we're winding up right now. And we'll pick up tomorrow. I know you gotta get your power saved up, and first of all, we're gonna pick this up tomorrow also. And we want to go over more details before we get there, so that when we get there, we kind of know what's going on. And then you just pinpoint some more things, and we'll talk some more about the animals also.
Okay.
But Damon's gonna go out of power, and we've talked about everything we need to really talk about. And any updates that you may stumble across, Damon, always, if you can, share with us. And Faith Walker, we'll be talking more about you also. And Damon, also tell us how your vehicle is and how it looks. And
I'm still waiting for it. Still waiting for the part to come in.
Okay. So we're still good though. We're still good. I mean, that's all you kind of need.
Still waiting for the part to come in, and then I got to find a way to purchase some antifreeze.
Okay, we can help out with that. Do you have the
PayPal? No, I've got Cash App.
Okay. Actually, you're gonna have to talk me through that, because I actually need to get through that, because SMA still has that $30 that you sent me, and I can actually send that right to you. Actually, yeah, because I think it has to come to me first, and then I can send it right back to you.
Okay.
And we'll also be sending more for gas and things like that. So we're on our way, so that you're taken care of too. So everybody have a good night. We will see you tomorrow night, 9:30 p.m. I had a great night talking with everybody. We got a lot of information done, and we will have more tomorrow. We are about to go track again in Texas, so this is why we're doing all these details before we go out, and you're actually getting to listen to strategies and things that we do. So everybody have a great night. Cliff, I'll get back to you. Angel, I'll try to get you loaded up, and I will see everybody here tomorrow at 9:30. All right,
Thank you. Bye, guys.
All right, bye everybody.